There's a good chance that part of the reason that you're depressed about the state of the world is because you've been convinced that humanity is like inherently bad, and that's just not true. Humans have like a well-demonstrated negativity bias, and what we tend to do is we tend to see instances of someone behaving badly, and then we conflate that to the entire human race and say like, oh, see, this proves that people are actually shit. So imagine you're just sitting in traffic and you could feel your blood pressure rising because you don't want to be sitting in the car and not doing anything. And you see someone pull off onto the shoulder and they just zip past everyone in the traffic line as if their lives matter more than everyone else. And what do? You say, oh man, people fucking suck. That person's such an asshole. And you don't notice that there are literally thousands of other cars that are sitting in this traffic jam with you and not doing that. And for the record, the person in that car might be a piece of shit, or they might have something going on that you just don't know about. They might have a kid who's waiting for them to pick up and they're late, or they might have like someone who's in the hospital who is on their deathbed and they're rushing to get there so that they could say goodbye to them. You don't know. Part of the reason that this way of thinking is so pervasive right now is because of social media and is because of like local news, which take the worst instances of humans being humans and show it to us every single night. So we're seeing nothing but horror after horror after horror. But if you're just going through your day, most of the people, most of the time, are not going to bother you and are just trying to do what's right for them and their families and their communities. My hunch is that the reason that we've become so much more authoritarian globally is because people have gotten so scared of other humans that we think that we need like some big daddy figure to protect us and keep the other people at bay. But that's just not really the case. It turns out that the leaders are usually the problem. They're usually the ones that are doing terrible things, and they're usually the ones that are screwing up the world. Whereas day-to-day people are actually doing their best and are normally trying really hard to be good. Now, you might be hearing this and thinking, you know what? I have several people in my life who aren't running the country who deeply, fundamentally suck. And fair. There are some people who are miserable. There are some people who are difficult. But I like to think of the teaching from Ram Dass, who talked about how when you go for a walk in the woods and you see a tree that's like stunted or twisted or just hasn't gotten that big or looks a little bit diseased, the thing that we think is like, oh, it's that way because the wind blew it too much and it wasn't able to ever grow up straight, or it didn't get enough sunlight, or the soil's ruined in some way, or there are pests in the woods. And we can look at the tree and understand why it is the way it is without being all judgmental. But when it comes to people and applying the sort of same generosity of spirit towards them, we really struggle to do that. I know difficult people too, but do you know how many of them would be significantly improved to be around if they weren't in pain all of the time because they suddenly got good, affordable healthcare? It's like all of them. And that's just one of the things that we could fix to make people nicer to be around. But we don't do that because we have terrible people in charge who like to make lots of money off of human suffering. So the next time you spend too much time staring into a screen and you start thinking that the world has completely fallen to shit, like just go out for a walk, go to the grocery store and see how many people are buying food for their families. Go to a school and see how many underpaid teachers are there all day, every day, taking care of other people's children and teaching them how to read and teaching them how to do stuff, even though the world is falling apart at the seams. Go to any doctor's office, any hospital, and see how many nurses and doctors are there caring for other human beings. People are really being good to other people all of the time. It's just happening in a way that isn't sticky for algorithms and it isn't that sexy and wouldn't make for interesting news. My name's Hirsch, by the way. I write about this sort of stuff. I don't think that the world is inherently doomed, and if that's the type of content that you like, give me a follow.